Guys, it's that time of the season. Season of the Wish is literally right around the corner. And I know, it's been one hell of a month, but here we are. We've got a Hamkara egg, and we're gonna use it in some way to breach the Traveler. And we're guessing that the dungeon this coming up season, which by the way is gonna be launching just a mere 3 days after the launch of the new season, is gonna tie into this lore. To that end, we've thrown together a seasonal prep guide for those that are looking to dive back in at full power. And don't worry, if you waited till the last week to finally do these things, it's okay, because I have too. We're in the same boat, man, which takes us to number 1, bounties and XP levels. I know, most of you probably already know this, but we gotta go over it. Bounty hoarding and XP gains should always be priority, more so for dungeons than for raids. You see, raids, we have more time to prepare. For dungeons though, the release is much sooner. And even though our pinnacle gear power level is still locked at 1810, it's the other things that really matter when it comes to XP. Now, for anybody that already has a full set of 1810 gear, any additional power leveling to reach maximum efficiency in in-game, like nightfalls or raids, will come from gaining XP levels on the seasonal artifacts. New seasonal challenges will be available at launch that grant large amounts of XP, but you can jump ahead by simply hoarding bounties now. Now understand, guys, it is speculated that next season is going to be a very long season. You know what that means. Long seasons equals disgusting artifact mods. Now, we made guides on this process before, and that still holds up here, but here's the TLDR. Weekly bounties grant a chunk of experience called XP++, which is less than most seasonal challenges, but far more than daily and repeatable bounties. Vendors that currently offer weekly bounties are Shalhan, Hawthorne, Eris Morn, the Lector of Enchantment, Varric, Starhorse, Petra, and Nimbus. Players can hold up to 63 bounties and quests within their inventory on each of their 3 characters, but don't pop them right away. There are 2 things you need to maximize your gains. First, equip the Blinding Light Ghost mod for an extra 12% XP from all sources. For my folks wondering about Cross, I hate when I do that because I can't equip my other mods. Don't worry, Bungie's actually lowering the cost of other Ghost mods next season, meaning you can still rock this chunky XP booster on top of other Ghost mods. Secondly, after a few ranks on the paid season pass, you will obtain a Fireteam XP booster, granting an extra 2% to all XP gains for players in a Fireteam. Essentially, guys, you want to save your bounties for when you start to get those boosters. Now, the best way to do this is just have that one guy who goes out there, blows their entire load of bounties, and gets as high up into the season pass as they can, therefore unlocking multiple boosters throughout the season pass, and then you join on them and you blow your load. Yeah, you see where I'm going with this? It's a constant load bloatation, and we actually do this live on stream, so come by, check us out. We're on Twitch, and big shout out to our folks that actually take one for the team and turns their bounties in first. Now, the last note, while it's fine to hold on to less valuable daily bounties, do not, and I repeat, do not hoard repeatable or Season of the Witch specific bounties, which activities aren't leaving, but these are likely to be removed from your inventory once season 23 launches. Now granted, if you're like Cross, I've got plenty of spots, well, okay, then I guess you could put repeatable bounties in there. I'm just letting you know, repeatable bounties, they're just not chunky. So definitely fill those inventory slots up with the chunky ones and then migrate to the others. Now, number 2, currency and economy changes. Now we have one massive change hitting next season, the slow deprecation of legendary shards. Now, for a long-time Destiny 2 player, this is probably blowing your mind. The hell, what do we do if we don't have legendary shards? Well, Glimmer is about to become the main currency. And before you ask, no, Bungie is not raising the Glimmer cap, at least not yet. Maybe in final shape. But starting in season 23, Monument to the Lost Light and ritual vendor focusing purchases will have no legendary shard costs ahead of their complete removal in the final shape. Now, the main thing here that differs from past deprecations is that those materials would still hold value even past the point of them no longer being taken. Understand, guys, legendary shards have to be spent this next season because they're gone. Now, this also means that focusing costs next season for everything is going to see some price fluctuations. And you can see the cost here, guys. Granted, it's a lot better than what Bungie originally gave us, and they said that was a typo, but everything is going to be very focused on you actually having the Ingrams with that associated vendor. But Bungie's already said that they're actually going to be increasing the drop rate for those ritual Ingrams, which should mitigate that extra cost. We'll see how that actually plays out. With that being said, though, legendary shards, spend them. You could spend them on Glimmer, you could spend them on Ascended Alloys, and that's pretty much what I spend mine on. Ascended Alloys is a necessary component for weapon crafting, and every chance I get, I buy another one. Now, moving on to number 3, last chance items and activities. Now, everybody should be aware of the rewards and activities that will no longer be accessible once the new season starts. Now, if you're prone to FOMO, this section may not be for you. Luckily, the list isn't that long. Starting with Guardian ranks and still guilding for Season the Witch, it needs to be completed before November 28th. Remember that the highest Guardian rank you can earn this season will be displayed by your name all of next season. If you want to flex on those 10s, well, you better wrap it up and get 11. Now, this is going to require you to farm Grandmasters, dungeons, accommodations, even do a master raid. And again, if you're like, but Cross, I only have 1 week to finish all this. That's all right. Again, I'm in the same boat. Come by the stream. We're going to be pulling some folks. I need to knock all these things out. I'm tired of these 9s talking smack. Now, similarly, guilding sealed titles like Conquer, Glorious, Dredgen, and Deadeye, and more have the same cutoff, if you're really into that. Now, secondly, we know of a few pieces of gear that are leaving the loot pool. The Malediction Ritual Hand Cannon. This is such a good hand cannon, guys. It's one of the best ritual weapons Bungie has given us. I urge you to please get it. And before you jump, I'm gonna say, but Cross, I don't need a hand cannon that makes Telesto bolts. What did you just say? You absolutely need a hand cannon that makes Telesto bolts. Now, other weapons that are leaving include Exderis, the Hive Boomer exotic from the Season Pass, the adept versions of Buzzard and the Swarm, as well as Immortal and Astral Horizon. These weapons will no longer be available. And I know no one's that crazy about Buzzard, but we just did a breakdown of kinetic trimmers here recently, and it's getting a buff next season. Meaning if you've got a kinetic trimmer Buzzard, please don't delete it. Now, the regular versions won't drop anymore, but you could still focus them at Zavala and Saint 14. So it's not complete FOMO. You just won't be able to get the adepts as they will be disappearing. Now for Iron Banner, the Dark Designer Auto Rifle and Ganora's Axe Lux Shotgun will also be leaving the loot pool. And for competitive, the Mercurio Overreach Sniper Rifle will be replaced by a new Hawkeye Aggressive Frame Strand Pulse Rifle next season. Additionally, for the first time ever next season, you will be able to focus competitive rewards at Shacks via Legacy Focusing. So this is actually a huge win for my comp players and for myself. If you never got that God Roll Rose or that God Roll Mercurio Overreach, you're in luck. There will be a limited amount of focusing attempts we can do per week, and it's going to be based on the rank we achieved in competitive. Can you believe that? Rank actually means something. Copper will give you 1 per week, but all the way at the top, we can get 7 focusing attempts at Ascendant. Now it's going to cost 3 Crucible Ingrams and 25,000 Glimmer per focus, but either way, this is fantastic for those of us that RNG did not bless. Now finally, on the note of focusing, in line with some of the Royal Loot Pool and Lost Sector changes, the Gunsmith will gain new options to specifically focus his Ingrams into Foundry-specific guns. We did a lore breakdown long ago on all the Foundries in the game, and they're actually really cool with their own unique identities. But these guns will be Banshee's focusing options next season, a wonderful change that Bungie is giving us. So yes, I know FOMO exists for some of these weapons for sure. Definitely want to get Malediction and keep some of these other weapons. But with that being said, I love that we're going to have options to focus past weapons. Now, number 4, new activities and loots. The reason we're doing all of this prep is so that we can hit the ground running and get all the new accolades for Season 23. Now, I know Bungie hasn't really talked much about activities, but we are getting a new dungeon on Friday, December the 1st. Now, for me, dungeons have become one of my most favorite day one experiences. Like, I love raids, but there's just something about dungeons, man, that are so unique. And the last few dungeons we have had have been total bangers with both gorgeous armor and gorgeous weapons. And you never know if that one artifact mod will make all the difference for you. I still remember when we did Duality, Les kept dying over and over. And you want to know why Les kept dying? Because he didn't hoard bounties. He thought he didn't need it. And then suddenly, Classy Restoration was an artifact mod that allowed me to stay alive through literally everything. Now, despite Les throwing over and over, we still got through that dungeon. But the point I'm trying to make is, don't be like Les. Hoard bounties. Be an asset to your team, not a liability. Now, with that being said, with a new dungeon coming, that also means that Ghost of the Deep will be entering the dungeon rotation. Lost Sectors are also getting some love next season, where Legend and Master solo completions will offer Foundry weapons at a 70% drop rate for Legend and guaranteed for Master, and the latter of which will grant additional perks in that 3rd and 4th column. Now again, we're being told that this season is going to be a very long one. We like to hit the ground running simply because that's part of the thrill. I love jumping in there, grinding for the new stuff, finding the next best thing, looking for that meta, especially with a new dungeon around the corner. If you want to come by our stream, guys, we will be live streaming both the launch of Season 23 as well as the dungeon itself. So come join us. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.